Imagine a belief system that claims its followers are chosen above all others, a system that has survived thousands of years, shaping societies, laws, and moral codes. But what if chosen doesn't mean enlightened? What if it's about control, separation, and unquestioned obedience? Today, we are going to pull back the veil. We are going to ask the questions no one dares to ask out loud. And we are going to explore the truths and contradictions hidden in the heart of Judaism. Ladies and gentlemen, for centuries, Judaism has been described as one of the oldest living religions in human history. Its texts, rituals, and traditions have guided millions, but guidance is not the same as morality, and tradition is not synonymous with truth. My purpose today is not to insult, but to interrogate, to challenge assumptions, and to force us to look critically at a faith that claims divine favor. Let us start with a simple question. What does it mean to be chosen? Does it mean being morally superior, spiritually enlightened, or simply part of an exclusive club? The Torah, or the Old Testament as some call it, is filled with laws, rules, and narratives. Many claim these laws are divinely inspired, but here's the critical question. Are these laws universal ethical guidelines, or are they tools designed to preserve a specific culture and consolidate power? Throughout history, the idea of being chosen has often justified separation and even conflict. The Jewish diaspora, centuries of isolation, and complex social structures all suggest a community focused inward, preserving identity by distinguishing itself from others. But when does preservation cross into superiority? And when does belief in divine favor justify exclusion or even indifference toward outsiders? Consider the moral contradictions embedded in these texts. A God who is both merciful and wrathful, benevolent and punishing, loving yet demanding obedience under threat of destruction? How can a being be simultaneously all loving and all vengeful? Is this divine complexity? Or is it a reflection of human desires for control and obedience wrapped in the guise of sacredness? Then there are the rituals and commandments, the kashrut, Sabbath, festivals, sacrifices. On the surface, they provide structure and identity. But dig deeper. Are these practices spiritual enlightenment or sophisticated methods of societal regulation? How much of devotion is truly free will, and how much is conditioned adherence to fear and tradition? History also teaches us that exclusivity can breed conflict. For centuries, Jews were the other, but often by choice as much as by circumstance. A community closed in on itself, fortified by ritual and law, inevitably clashes with surrounding cultures. Does faith unite or does it divide? Can the same religion both inspire moral greatness and justify social isolation? And yet one cannot ignore the resilience and cultural richness Judaism has produced. Literature, law, philosophy, and ethics, many of humanity's achievements bear its influence. But we must ask, are these values inherent to divine instruction, or are they interpretations shaped by humans over millennia? In other words, are we venerating God's word or human authorship masked as divine command? Think about obedience, the commandment to follow God without question. Does it cultivate morality or blind submission? Can morality truly exist without choice? How can an eternal law account for ever changing human realities? These questions are not attacks. They are necessary probes into the foundations of belief itself. And here's the most uncomfortable question. What does it mean to blindly follow a tradition? If a community survives by teaching unquestioned obedience, by separating itself as chosen, what happens to curiosity, doubt, and critical thought? Can a faith truly be a force for liberation if it discourages the very questions that make us free? Judaism, like all religions, is a human story as much as a divine one. Its texts are revered, its rituals cherished, but reverence should never silence inquiry. History has shown that societies that fail to question inherited wisdom risk repeating mistakes. Dogma without debate is control, not guidance. Faith without reflection is not freedom. It is a gilded cage. So I leave you with this. Are we followers of tradition or prisoners of it? Does chosen mean enlightened, or does it mean confined? And above all, can a belief system that demands unquestioned loyalty ever coexist with the free, questioning human mind? We are not here to hate, we are here to question. And questioning, in the end, may be the only truly sacred act of all.